a modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And on today's show, we talk about the Deadpool casting news, Nightcrawler and Apocalypse, Age of Ultron, and how Aquaman's photo is making a big splash.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I worked on that one a long time to get that
man.
there.
I'll give you some credit for that. I mean, credit's due.
I didn't see that on any other news articles over the week, so why couldn't we?
I think that's what they call low-hanging fruit, though.
No. Someone's got to pick it, buddy. So, I'm just going to jump into some updates from last week.
Yeah.
We had a pretty big show last week.
Oh, yeah.
Our longest one to date. We talked about the Deadpool movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how Daniel Cudmore, who played Colossus in Xmen 2, 3, and what was the last one? Days of Future Past?
Yeah.
Was supposed to be in there. Well, he has confirmed by himself via Twitter that he will not be in there. However, that doesn't remove Colossus from the movie. Somebody else could play him.
Yeah, I mean, he was good in the movies, but I don't think it's too hard to find some sort of tall Russian man to cover in metal.
Did he ever talk in all of those movies?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Did he?
I don't remember hearing him talking.
If he did, it was so minimal.
Yeah, I never remember any words like maybe him saying "children come with me" in X2.
Yeah,
but that was really all I got. So they probably need someone with a bigger personality to play.
Yeah, a little bit more range.
Yeah.
That's not doubting his acting ability. I have just not seen him in anything else.
I will agree with that. So that's really the only update we got from last week. That's just pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Big that we don't have any updates, I guess.
Yeah.
That means the news isn't fluctuating.
Means you don't have to amend anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to step up. If you notice on our podcast, they each have a unique title.
Mm-hmm.
And I come up with those titles, and Mike's usually like, where did you come up with that title?
Yeah, it's always really fun going into the show doc beforehand and seeing what you titled it.
Yeah, and this week we call it Bamf.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know if you know where that comes from, Mike.
Okay, well, so a little bit of a background. Every week when you pick a title, you usually pick it from some sort of news that happened that week. So I believe last week's episode was With Great Power.
Yes, sir.
And obviously that was related to the Spider-Man news. So I actually picked up on that one. That one wasn't too difficult. But Bamf. I don't know. I automatically think Deadpool.
You're very close.
Yeah? What's it from?
Nightcrawler. The sound he makes whenever he teleports is Bamf.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And Deadpool, of course, he has like a teleporting belt or something on him.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't actually have that ability. It's like his gear, and he kind of teleports. I think it makes similar to a Bamf sound, so you're pretty close.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they've crossed paths before. It was in the Xmen universe, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, when I heard the noise, obviously, you imagine like the big stretchy letters in the background of a panel.
Yeah.
So that's good. I can't wait to see next week's.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to come up with next week's. It's like one of the highlights of the week.
How often does it take you? Does it just like seconds, or are you spending like hours like combing through the news? What's the good title?
Yeah, it's usually like on the spot. It's never the first bit of news, but it's usually like the middle of the week.
Okay. And you're just like, that'll be a good title.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't want our titles to be longer than like 3 words.
Uh-huh.
So I try to find something that fits that.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
Well, so I lost the game. I got close.
You did get close. But
I lost.
But there's no partial credit in Superhero Slate.
One of these coming episodes, I'll make up a title and I'll make you pick it.
Oh,
so you can
that'll be
so we
fun.
can be even.
Oh, that'll be awesome. So that's our game for the week. Mike plays guess that title.
Pretty anticlimactic.
Pretty, yeah.
Well, let's talk about the news.
Yeah, let's talk about the news. That's a good segue. Just shut up, Chris. That's always a good one. So first thing I got this week, Age of Ultron news. It's coming out in 10 weeks.
Ooh, so close.
10 weeks, yes, very so close. And the Event Cinema, which runs like reports on like what movies are rated and like information about them, reported that Age of Ultron lasts 140 minutes.
Yes.
That is 2 hours and 20 minutes of Avengers.
You know what? When I saw this, you instantly try to compare it to the runtime of the Avengers, which I was surprised to see was basically almost the same runtime, 143 minutes. But like, it doesn't feel like it. Like that whole movie, I think I was just in a trance. Every time I watch it, I just go into a trance, and I just like am having like blissful fun until it's over. Then I'm like, oh, it's over. So I'm totally okay with that runtime.
You're definitely not alone. Like, and I agree. Avengers 1 is like, it feels like a 90-minute action movie because it jumps in straight from the get-go. You know, the reactor's blowing up and Loki's there on Earth, and it doesn't stop until they're eating shawarma. Like I watched it, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. Just for fun, and it blew by. It was just done before I know it, and it's funny. I'm actually starting this last Friday. I'm watching one Marvel Cinematic movie a week in release order up until Age of Ultron comes out.
Oh, that's cool.
It's something I'm doing on Comic UI, and I didn't think to look at the runtime for Iron Man 1, but I think I'm gonna try to see how long these movies are. As I watch now, like seeing if they're kind of in comparison, because I don't think 2 hours and 20 minutes, take credits off, that's like what, 5-10 minutes. I think it'll be a good movie.
Do they include credits and runtime of films?
I think so, because at the end, most Marvel movies have a post-credit sequence, which is appended to that runtime as well.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? One thing I kind of want to do is before the film comes out, it'd be fun to take bets of what we think the post-credit scenes are going to be.
Oh man!
And we'll maybe we'll wager a little bit of a bet. See who guesses it the best.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. And you know what? I want people at home to play along too.
Yeah, because I think it would have been a little bit easier to pick the post-credit scene before this crazy Spider-Man news happened. But now Spider-Man has really changed the schedule, and we don't know when he's going to pop up, when we're going to get the first glimpse of him. So
I think it would be very ballsy to predict Spider-Man simply because they haven't cast anyone yet, and that would be very, very short time for them to design a costume and get him in there. But I mean, again, Marvel isn't known for doing things we think they would do.
Yeah, that's true.
They usually go out of their way to do something drastic and world changing.
All right, so we'll craft a bet within the next 8 weeks. Before we get any sort of leaks or rumors of the post-credit scene.
Yeah, we will avoid that like the plague.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So leading off Avengers Age of Ultron, the first Phase 3 Marvel movie, Captain America Civil War. Tony Stark, or not Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., who is essentially Tony Stark in real life.
Yeah, practically the same thing.
Practically the same guy. Well, they were asking him, what was it like being asked to do this movie? Because his contract had one more movie in it, right? After Avengers 2, which was, as we know, Avengers Infinity War. Well, since they announced Phase 3, they've announced Civil War, which has Tony Stark, and Infinity War is being split into 2 movies. So, what was the draw to get him in there, right? Did they pitch it as, Captain America Civil War is, Iron Man 4, and you get your own movie? And he's like, no. Robert Downey Jr., Captain America Civil War is not Iron Man 4, but he's going to be in there, maybe not as a proponent, but, as an evolution of Tony Stark as we see throughout all the movies. And I remember watching Iron Man 3. We were in California. We did a marathon in the theater. And how many movies was that? 4 movies?
It was quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, Iron Man 1, 2, Avengers, and 3. And it was really interesting to see Tony Stark from Iron Man 1 to the end of Iron Man 3. And that journey he takes throughout that. And I kind of want to see where he goes after Avengers 2 and essentially Civil War. What brings him to that mindset where he's opposing Captain America?
Yeah, and you know what? Just speaking of just acting in a role for so long, I used to think that every actor after a certain number of movies, would avoid the same character like the plague. They don't want to be typecast, or they just want to do something new because acting is an art and they want to do something different. They don't want to be pigeonholed. But I believe I just saw maybe just a day or two ago that Hugh Jackman reported saying that he wants to play Wolverine basically forever. Like, as long as he's physically able to play Wolverine, he wants to. So it makes me kind of curious maybe if Robert Downey Jr. wants to do the same thing. You know, I think Marvel could afford paying him more money for more movies, and I think it would be worth the investment. But I guess there's always going to be some sort of a producer or studio exec that's going to be like, we don't need to spend that much money.
Yeah, and I think with, you know, we talked about this a little bit last week, with Spider-Man coming on, you know, Iron Man was the first Marvel movie, and it spurred the rest of them. So going on beyond Robert Downey Jr. to focus on, you know, smaller characters and smaller movies, the Spider-Man kind of spurs that in that direction. And saying, like, you know, we have Spider-Man now, so Iron Man can take a backseat until maybe Robert Downey Jr. decides he wants to come back into the game later, after he does his own, like, little things and gets that off his chest. So
yeah, who knows?
But I mean, that's good to know. You know that, you know, he doesn't feel it's Iron Man 4. That's good to know that, you know, Captain America is still going to be a Captain America movie, even if it has a billion other people in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty exciting because it's like when I think of Iron Man and Captain America in the same movie, plus they're going to have obviously Black Widow's going to be in it. I've heard rumors that Hawkeye might be in it.
Black Panther for sure as well.
Yeah, and possibly Spider-Man. You know, the Civil War comic is all about many heroes in it. You know, obviously I think this movie is going to take a different direction, and, you know, maybe the Civil War will, you know, won't be so leveraged on just tons of superheroes. But it's almost going to feel like another Avengers movie. We're just going to have another movie full of a bunch of superheroes.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, and you know, the movie starts filming pretty soon. We have almost a year till release coming up, and that blows my mind. We're that much closer to another Captain America movie, because Winter Soldier was one of my favorite movies of 2014, and I can't wait for the Russo brothers to get back into that universe.
Yeah, it all seems like it's going so fast, but it's not coming soon enough.
It's just that is what she said.
It's just this weird, like, middle ground.
So, yeah, so that's actually about it for Marvel news today. We're going to jump into something we talked about last week, Deadpool.
Yes.
Deadpool's getting a lot of attention lately, and
yes,
that is not a bad thing.
Yes, Fox is going all in with Deadpool.
Yes, so this week there was a leaked casting call for the Deadpool movie, and it talked about, you know, some characters with generic names. Like, they were just, you know, placeholder names, but the descriptions matched up with people from two sources: the Deadpool comics and the leaked Deadpool script from 2010. I went back and I wasn't into this stuff back in 2010, so I went back and found that Deadpool script and read it this week. Those descriptions match up with this leaked script, and I think this leaked script will be where we go forward. It'll be the base of it. It won't be exactly the same, but it will be the base. Because there's a villain called Ajax in the script in the comics, and he's kind of like the anti-Deadpool. He's big and bulky and likes to cause destruction, but he's more mean than Deadpool is. Because Deadpool's, you know, he's just a smartass.
Yeah.
And so he's in there. I don't know much about him just yet. I read some stuff online, but I don't want to give it away just yet.
Yeah, because you may contain some spoilers in your brain with reading that leaked script.
It is, and I'm trying definitely not to give these away. Next up is another character called Weasel. And that, I think, as we talked about TJ Miller from Big Hero 6 last week, that's the character I think he's playing. A very, very sarcastic character. Not Deadpool's inner voice, like I such speculated.
Yeah, that would have been cool, though, but...
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of Weasel.
Yeah, I don't remember if he has any superpowers.
Yeah, I don't think I've read enough Deadpool in general.
Yeah, there's way too much Deadpool and not enough good Deadpool.
Yeah, he's pretty scattered because he likes to just kind of pop up here and there. I have one of his Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe books. That one was pretty good, but a lot of his stuff that, you know, I've come across is kind of just one-off. I've never really read him integrated into any sort of, like, event yet.
Yeah, he has one series coming up called Deadpool's Secret Wars. It's like a Secret War tie-in, but how he appeared in the first Secret Wars, even though he wasn't really created then yet. And I'm gonna pick it up this May, and I'll let you know how that goes. But he's kind of all over the place. Like, you don't know what's real and what's not real with him. And then another character that's very important to Deadpool is Blind Al, his roommate. And Al it's actually a woman, and like kind of like spurs Deadpool and like kind of being a better person than he is, but is just as like snarky and sarcastic in return. So those three people were on the casting list under different names, and we think that's what they're going to be played as. But we did get one casting confirmation this week for reals.
Yes, we did.
Morena Baccarin is the female lead for the movie.
Yes, and she is known from tons of stuff. She gets around in Hollywood. Probably most people out there who keep up with the stuff know her from Firefly. She's also been in Gotham. She was V. She was in V. I watched like 1 or 2 episodes of that. I don't know how far that series went.
I think it was just like a short event series, or maybe I don't remember. But I remember her character the most from V than anyone else.
Oh, okay.
But it was a remake of something else too, so who knows?
Yeah, I believe that was a remake of an older series.
And now we kind of looked up what Morena looked like right before this, right? I mean, you did, I did. Now, she looks like the character Domino.
Yes, that's instantly what I thought when I saw that she was casted.
Yeah, she's got the short hairstyle. She's got the look. She looks like Domino, a mutant from the X-Men universe, who kind of has ties to Deadpool, actually. And I think she was in the script. I read so much this week, I don't even remember what was real and what wasn't. But I think she's Domino. You think she's Domino?
I mean, she looks dead set like Domino. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Photoshop out there already with some face paint on her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she looks just like Domino. Yeah, I think she's probably gonna be Domino.
my only interaction with Domino is from that legendary card game.
Oh yeah. She is in that.
And that's really all I got for that.
Yeah, and she's what's it called in that card game where the characters on the same team?
X-Force?
Yeah, well, they have like the 2 cards. Her and Deadpool, I believe they share the same. They share the same team or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think it's X-Force.
Oh, okay.
Because she was like on the X-Force team for a while. Either way, a lot of Deadpool news. Hoping it's February 12th next year, and they're moving right along with it.
Yeah, it feels so weird that the movie's real.
Yes, it does. And what's weird is it fits into Fox's X-Men universe.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of funny if if they point fun at the old Deadpool that they created in Origins somehow.
There are a lot of running gags in the script. That is one of them.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, so don't you worry.
Okay.
That will be addressed if they use those jokes.
Excellent.
So, speaking of X-Men Universe, some X-Men Apocalypse concept art came out on Instagram this week.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty out of the news loop last week, but this is one of the things that I did get to see. Yeah,
so Bryan Singer shared a picture of Ship. That is actually his name, Ship. Which is Apocalypse's base of operations. If you've read X-Men Apocalypse, I don't know if it's a sentient ship or what it is, but its name is Ship, and it's kind of blurry. It looks like a watercolor pastel.
Yeah, it definitely has the concept art feel.
Yeah, definitely no definition, nothing to it, but it definitely showed up that Ship there, and they're definitely in the concept art process. Which I think is, for the movie coming out in May, they're a little late for that. I don't know how long movies take to film and turn around, especially with X-Men and powers and all the effects that go into it. But I feel like they'd be a lot longer, like in the process, a lot more in the process. But again, this could be old stuff he's sharing now.
Well, I feel this concept art brings the main question to me is, are the X-Men going to start dealing with interplanetary stuff, outer space? This is a ship. Is it going to be going out of the atmosphere? Are we going to be seeing aliens? Are we going to be seeing things from off Earth come to Earth? That's what it kind of makes me curious about.
That is a good question.
You know, when I look at the concept art, when I see the ship, you know, I don't know if this is just the colors that they chose or just the one little cropped angle that we see, but it kind of makes me feel a little Galactus-y when I look at it.
Well, to be fair, if you think of the Apocalypse colors from the 90s, it's light blue and purple, which is pretty much the same as Galactus. But it does look like a lot like a Galactus machine from like the Ultimate Galactus.
Well, I believe Fox has the rights to Galactus.
They do, and that would be another bold move to bring Galactus into this.
Yeah, and they're working on a Fantastic Four movie, and what a perfect way to bring these two superhero teams together with one of the biggest baddies in the Marvel Universe.
That would be, except this movie takes place in the 80s.
Well, you know, they're going to be doing some time shifting. And that's another big question I want to know too. Is we all know Fantastic Four is going to cross with the X-Men universe eventually. I mean, that's what every franchise wants right now. There's these crossovers. So if X-Men's happening in the 80s and the Fantastic Four, the trailer, I mean, I would assume that they're present day. I don't know if it's been stated official or not. And then who knows where the Deadpool movie is going to take place in the time? But when do these all connect? Someone's got to be time traveling somewhere to catch up. That's all I know.
I honestly don't know. I did an article on UI last year about the X-Men timeline, and that was before Days of Future Past was even released. And since then, I'm even more confused. So they have ideas. They'll do what they want. They'll take their own liberties, so to speak. And make what they want, but we now know what Ship kind of looks like.
Ship, what a great name.
Ship. Speaking of Apocalypse, they actually cast Nightcrawler again for X-Men Apocalypse. Kid Nightcrawler.
Ooh, Kitty.
We haven't seen Nightcrawler since X2 when he was played by Alan Cumming, and that was probably one of the best parts of the movie. Like opening sequence, him bamfing around the White House.
Yeah, he had some pretty good makeup on for that film too.
Yeah, and played a big role in it, and that's a great power set to see on film. I think that really opens up some new doors for creativity. But they've cast this guy, this kid, Kodi Smit-McPhee. He's known for The Road, that really depressing movie with the guy who played Aragorn. And he was been in some other stuff. I really don't know him. If you look at him, he looks a little like just a human Nightcrawler.
He looks familiar. Yeah, but he doesn't look particularly like anything I've seen him in.
Yeah, he's got that face like he looks 20, but in like a 10-year-old's body.
He looks like he could easily play like a middle schooler. They're always casting agencies are always looking for people that are over 18 that look much younger.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this guy's coming up. He'll be 20 when the movie comes out. So who knows what it'll look like in the movie? But I remember he was in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the newest one. He was in that film as well. So people who've seen that might recognize him as Alexander.
He was the kid that drew in the sketchbook.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's where he looks familiar from.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a fine Nightcrawler.
I don't see, like, he doesn't really have a whole lot riding on his shoulders.
Yeah, that's true.
But as long as they use him effectively and they just don't overpopulate this third movie in the trilogy with more mutants than we need, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, but I think it's a good casting. We got lots of casting news this week from Fox, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really excited to see Nightcrawler. I hope to see some blue paint on him as well, and we'll see if they use him as Mystique's son again as well, since he's Mystique's son in the comic.
That's true. Yeah.
So, other than that, we got some user stuff this week actually.
Yeah.
One of our listeners, Alan, friend of yours, met him at your wedding. I think he was the officiator.
Yes, he married me and my wife.
Yes, very, very interesting guy. Loved the conversations we had in his room getting dressed.
God.
He got a double room, and everyone else had like singles, so it was just a big party in there. So last week we posed a question about Gotham. Who watches Gotham, right? And we don't. Not yet, at least. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe when it's done.
I believe we stated there's only so many hours in a day.
This is so true. And so here's Alan's word for word rundown of Gotham. I'm just going to read it to us.
Give it to me.
Okay. Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock are partners. So we know Jim Gordon, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's, Commissioner Gordon. Mm-hmm. There's someone else called Montoya as an internal affair at the Gotham City Police Department. Mm-hmm. Bruce is around 12 to 13 years of age, so not quite Batman.
Yeah.
Catwoman, Poison Ivy are around the same age as well, which makes sense. They're always usually about the same age.
Yeah.
The Riddler is CSI at the police department, which you kind of said last week.
Yeah.
And they've introduced the Electrocutioner, Professor Pig, and Scarecrow. And apparently the Scarecrow's background story involves his father, which I didn't know. I don't know who Professor Pig is as well. Now I'm interested. And this last week we talked about them introducing the Joker. And Alan seems to think they have introduced the Joker as a child. And Dick Grayson's parents.
Oh, okay.
And his quotes say, "The show is boss." So that's a very good take on it, a very good review of it.
Yeah, well, if anyone over there at the studio needs a quote to push their show, "This show is boss," quote Alan would be good for posters, maybe little
DVD
bumpers, commercials.
I want to see it on the DVD cover, like on the back, in quotes. "The show is boss,"
and then it just says some guy named Alan.
Yeah, he says it's the story of the rise of the Penguin and Jim Gordon, and which is true. The guy who plays Penguin, who was supposed to be at Lexington Comic Con, which I was going to go to, he looks creepy, but he doesn't look like he looks like a stretched out Danny DeVito version. Like, he's really tall and lanky and got that messed up, like, not a messed up face, but that weird looking face. But, Danny DeVito, he's like, what, 2 feet tall and round?
Yeah.
But this guy looks like he's 6 foot tall and skinny. So just take him, stretch him out, and that's what you got.
Yeah, I got to see him in the pilot, and it kind of makes you wonder, when does he start overeating?
Yeah. Probably something to do with mother issues. People are.
Just the stress of not being able to kill Batman.
Yeah, and not having a Batman to kill yet, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I read some about that Joker thing last week. His name is Jerome. Which makes me think that at some point, didn't Harley Quinn call him Jerome?
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
Does that not ring a bell to you? It might just be me and my own delusions.
Yeah, it might just be you. You're just in a wash of just superhero and comic news and facts all the time.
Yeah, maybe it was like the J. Jerome Joker, like Bruce has B for Batman.
Yeah, it's always with the alliteration of these comic books.
always. But, that's... I appreciate Alan sending this in and letting me know what's going on.
Yeah, thanks so much. And guess what, guys? You don't have to personally know us to send anything in. We'll if you raise a good question or have something fun you want to talk about, we'll put it on the show.
We will talk about anything.
Yes, anything.
And I don't even know if we know anything. If we could be completely stupid about it, I'll still talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I make pretty good macaroni and cheese. I feel like we could talk about that.
Oh man! Now, do you bake it or do you make it on the stove?
You know what? There's a combination. You can do multiple different ways. But sometimes if you just want to go the really cheap route, I like to go to the store and now you don't just go for the regular Kraft macaroni and cheese. You want to find something that has the fun shapes, maybe like a SpongeBob shape. I think at one point they had a How to Train Your Dragon shape. Those can be pretty fun, and I prefer the texture to those noodles to the regular macaroni. Okay, we talked about this way too much.
Well, let me throw in my 2 cents on this, because I had macaroni like twice this week for lunch. I go and get the frozen Stofers.
Yeah, those are good.
But I don't microwave it.
Oh.
Microwave takes like 8 minutes. I put it in the stove for 53 minutes. It comes out delicious as hell.
Who makes those? Talk about an easy decision to make. You're looking at the back of that box. You're like, I'm hungry and I want macaroni. Do I want to wait an hour or do I want it now?
The weirdest thing is, why 53 minutes? Why couldn't we just round it off to 55? Like, 2 minutes isn't going to kill it.
I just imagine the Stouffer's test kitchen. They have just like this timeline of macaronis, and then just for hours they're debating on like, I don't know, did you like the 53-minute one better, or was it the 54-minute one?
I imagine it was like some sort of chart, like an XY graph, and like the sweet point of mac and cheese.
Yeah,
is where these two lines cross.
They reached out to some statisticians, and they're just like, oh, where's the curve? Where's the sweet spot?
Okay, now we've talked too much about mac and
I
cheese.
think, do we change the name of the episode now?
No, Bamf is still good. That's all encompassing because we're just bamfing around topics over here.
All right. I think this is a time to move along.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Neill Blomkamp. Have you heard of him?
Yes. He has directed and created some of my favorite sci-fi. Well, I guess some is a little too much. I really like District 9. I'll go there.
District 9's great. I hated Elysium.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was on the line of hate, but it was not good.
Yeah, and before that, he actually did some live action commercials for Halo 3. And he was supposedly in line to do the Halo movie. He posted some, concept art for an Alien sequel a few months ago.
Yeah, this was, I believe the story was this was just totally off budget. Like I think he paid someone out of pocket with his own money just to draw up some stuff that he thought would look cool.
Yeah, he was just having fun with it, like nothing official.
Yeah, and then he did the sneaky bit of, I'm going to release this stuff and maybe I'll get to make an Alien movie.
Exactly. So he released it online. Fan reaction has been through the roof because it had Sigourney Weaver returning as Ripley / Alien Queen. And I think it was Bill Paxton was in one of them, and he comes back with like a scarred face. And apparently the internet reaction was so strong that Fox is moving on with this, making an Alien sequel from Neill Blomkamp.
Man, I'm just gonna clap Fox. We get an Alien movie from Neill Blomkamp, and we get a Deadpool movie because the internet knows what it's doing.
Yeah, if you want something made and you have a good concept behind it, leak it.
Yeah, just put it on the internet.
Put it on the internet. Now, here's the cool thing is, now this is being done by Ridley Scott's Scott-Free Productions as well. It's like under the umbrella of it. Because he created Alien and Prometheus. But it does not affect Prometheus 2. That is still being made. So this is like a sequel farther down to the Alien line, not the Prometheus line.
So let's talk about a couple things here. So Neill Blomkamp is an amazing director. Yes. He makes beautiful looking movies, and when you see some of the action in Elysium, which is probably some of the saving grace of that movie, just the beautiful weapons that he makes, the robots, this like dystopian future he creates, his movies always look great. Now some of the people have kind of docked him on his writing and storytelling, which wasn't really a problem in District 9, but was definitely a problem in Elysium. So I've personally heard from people that people really want to see Neill Blomkamp direct someone else's writing. So, and I think if it comes with a love of his Alien franchise, I think that's going to be awesome to see him directing someone else's work. He doesn't have to get bogged down too much with creating a story. He's just going to adapt someone else's. And, this is already a franchise, so there's lots to draw from. So I think this is just perfect. I can't think of a better project for Neill.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This is a lot like the new Star Wars movie coming out. J.J. Abrams was good, and then he did some stuff that was kind of questionable. But his directing and his look and his style was there. But he didn't write all of the new Star Wars. So he's directing off somebody else's script, and I think, and his love for Star Wars is going to feel it. I feel the same way, like what you're saying here with Alien. That yes, he can direct it as long as it's not set in South Africa. Again, I don't care to see Chappie. I know Chappie is his next movie coming out this year in a couple of weeks. I don't care to see it. And he always casts that one guy from the A-Team. I know that's horrible. He was the main guy in District 9, and I can't think of his name. Charlton Copley.
Yeah. And
he's great. He can flip a switch, be good guy, bad guy. But I hope he doesn't cast him, and I hope it's not set in South Africa.
Yeah, well, I think we'll be safe that it's going to be somewhere in space. I think it's kind of cool that we're not getting a reboot. Well, at least I would assume it's not a reboot since the concept art had Sigourney Weaver in it. So it sounds like this is going to be in the future of the other movies. So I'm excited. I think this is going to be really cool. And, if we're talking a little bit about Prometheus, so Prometheus had problems too, and I've heard a lot of people say that the original script was actually much better. A lot of the problems that people had with the movie were not in the original script. So I don't know what happened, if the studio got involved or what, but Prometheus, the first movie, looked amazing. I mean, talk about movies that just look good. I mean, it's kind of crazy that I could still recommend Prometheus to people. Like, I'd say, like, you're going to feel like you're going to be yelling at the movie when it's over because you're going to be like, well, that was stupid decisions that those characters made. But it looked beautiful. I mean, no one can watch Prometheus and just go, oh, that looked like garbage.
It's true. And, I'm one of the few that I enjoyed Prometheus. Because I'm not directly, I don't care for, it's not like I don't care. I just didn't watch the Alien movies until much, much later in life. And when I went in that, I love Michael Fassbender's robot, and kind of like the some of the innocence in the film is still there from the characters, and towards the end, you're right, there are some questionable things that happen, but I'm still one of those things that I would recommend it as well. So yeah. I see this franchise, almost being killed off with Alien 4, reigniting and coming back.
Yeah, but man, Neill Blomkamp, he is a talented dude. So yes. There's no reason not to check out what he's doing. So, well, this is exciting. We don't really have a release date or anything like that yet, but I would assume maybe 2017.
Yeah, I would say it's at the most 2017, at the latest 2018.
Yeah, this kind of feels this kind of feels like a winter release to me, not so much summer.
Well, the problem with that is if it's got Star Wars to deal with for the next 6 years in December.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess every film has Star Wars to deal with, so they're just going to have to find a way.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we know Neil's listening to this podcast, obviously, because everyone else does. So good luck, Neill.
Yeah, Neill, you're great.
Yeah. Speaking of... No, there's really no way to go into this. We talked about Lucifer, actually. This probably should have fallen under updates, but we talked about the show Lucifer based on Neil Gaiman's Sandman character. It's got a director. The show actually got a director now. So its director is Len Wiseman. He's known for the Total Recall remake, which was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Underworld movies. He's married to Kate Beckinsale, so he has to be doing something right. But also, they kind of gave a new description. The show's kind of undergone an evolution from, Lucifer gets bored of his duties in hell, comes up, opens the piano bar on Earth. It's more of a police procedural. And Deadline stated that adding that the character will get his kicks helping the LAPD punish criminals. I don't know if this is going to be... I feel like when I read that, this is going to be more like a Blacklist kind of film or show.
Yeah, it seems strange. I mean... I think it's kind of weird when you start adapting comics that are not very well known. I mean, I think a lot of people in the comic book community, if you tell Sandman, they're gonna know what Sandman is. They may have not read it, but they know about the book and they know Neil Gaiman. But I imagine this is for network television, I believe. Is this going to be like an NBC or an ABC or something like that?
I honestly don't know. My guess would have been Showtime or AMC or something like that. Because, it's hard to get a religious... Like, Constantine's struggling right now, and it's hard to get those kind of shows that deal with hell and stuff on network television. Yeah,
and I think it kind of makes you wonder, are they going to get much love, or are they going to get much help from the fact that this is a character from Sandman? Most people are probably going to be like, oh, that Lucifer show, I watched that the other week, it's pretty good, oh, it's not so good, and then someone's going to say, like, oh, do you know that's a character from Sandman? And they're going to be like, what are you talking about? What is this based on?
That's true, and Sandman kind of has a movie that's kind of being made with Joseph Gordon-Levitt attached to it. And they've always been talking about making these Sandman movies, so I don't even know if we'll get to the point where it's connected to that at all. But just a quick check here. It's by Fox, actually. Fox is looking to put a pilot commitment to Lucifer. And it's from the Californication creator-producer Tom Capinos.
Oh.
And Californication wasn't on Fox.
No, that was Showtime.
Yeah, because it's kind of a content not suitable for television show.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just kind of look at the possible way this show might go, so Lucifer, wants to punish the bad guys. He's used to punishing them in hell, so maybe he's gonna help the cops punish them before they make it to hell. I could see the motivation. It works there. I think if they kind of keep it light and fun, it'll work.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to know, like, they have to have like a big bad, right? Or I guess in this situation, like, what's worse than Lucifer, or maybe it's a big good, like what's better than Lucifer's coming to form. So I will probably watch it. I'm gonna be frank. I'll probably watch it, even though it's a DC Vertigo comic. So.
All right. Well, you be Frank and I'll be Mike, and then we'll see how that goes.
It's gonna be great. All right, so I want to talk about some big news.
Okay, bring it on.
Okay, Batman vs. Superman is coming out next March. 13 months. We got our first official look at Aquaman this week.
Yes, we did.
Of all the characters they would release, Aquaman was the last one I thought we'd get to see.
Yeah.
And Jason Momoa, known for playing Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones. I don't know what else he's really been in.
I don't know. Everyone knows him from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is definitely where this image even looks like, and it's definitely in our show notes. So if you haven't seen it, come to our show notes. Released by Zack Snyder online, I think it was Twitter, and it says "Unite the Seven," and it's got him in his outfit. Is this the first time you've seen this picture today, Mike?
No, I saw it when it was released, and he looks badass. I mean. He looked awesome when he played Drogo in Game of Thrones. I think this is great casting. I mean, I think you kind of have to go overboard with the machismo and manliness and maybe a little bit of scariness when it comes to Aquaman, because everyone loves poking fun at Aquaman. But man, he looks badass. I'm excited to see it.
I didn't think they could do something this cool with Aquaman.
Yeah.
I've seen the Aquaman they put in the Smallville show. Stupid as hell. They had a Smallville spinoff. There was a pilot. It was actually the guy who played Green Arrow in Smallville was Aquaman for the spinoff.
Oh yeah.
And it's been choosing pretty boys, right? Like, oh, they're pretty boys because Aquaman's a pretty boy. This is the opposite of pretty boy.
Yeah.
This guy's got tribal tattoos that look like scales that matches armor on one arm. I mean, he looks like Khal Drogo under the sea.
Yeah. That's a good way. That's a good way to put it.
And with this trident of, it's got 5 points at the end instead of 3. And the only issue I have, it's not an issue. This image has been photoshopped down to dull out all the colors. So I've seen a recolored image that shows off where the green and orange are kind of in there still. I think it's a very, very good adaptation of Aquaman to fit in the Zack Snyder Batman Superman universe.
Yeah, I think this is good. I mean, we obviously know that this DC universe is going for a little bit more grit. It's going for a little bit more seriousness, and this totally fits. Yeah,
and for the first time ever, I want to see Aquaman in a movie. And he does get his own movie in a few years, and this will spur me to watch that.
Yeah.
Especially as he comes up in Justice League as well.
Yeah, so now what do you think the Unite the Seven means?
Yeah, that's the next thing. The Unite the Seven, the first thing I thought of, to me, 7 Justice League members.
Yep.
Then I talked about this with my friend Brian of Comic UI, and he says, well, what about the 7 Seas? That was his first thought. I'm like, that's a good question. But how do the people under the water know there are 7 seas?
Yeah, like, hey, I think you're talking about there's more like 3 lands, right?
Yeah.
Not 7 seas.
Exactly. And then, but if you look into Aquaman's history in the comics, which I did a little research, he was a member of this group called the Others, in which there were 7. It's kind of like a non-super-powered Justice League kind of thing. And what you said, I'm gonna go with probably Avengers, or not Avengers, Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a little bit more sense, but I don't think it's saying that Aquaman is going to unite the Seven. I just think this is just kind of a call to arms to unite the Seven in general. So I think so. What do we got? We got Batman, we got Superman, we got Aquaman, Wonder Woman.
I will also confirm the Flash has been cast and will be in the movie.
Flash, yeah, that's right.
And Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Yep.
Wait, that's 6, right?
Yep. Who's the 7th?
Would it be Martian Manhunter, you think?
He does not have a movie come out in the next 5 years. Now, here's where I started to get a little confused on Justice League. Okay, of those 6, all have been cast in the movie. Or cast, and will have their own movies. Green Lantern has a movie coming out in 2020.
Green Lantern, that's the 7th one we're thinking of.
But they've not cast him yet, so how will they unite the 7 by the end of this movie to, quote-unquote, have the dawn of the Justice League? But they've also have a Shazam movie coming out way before Green Lantern does.
Yeah, that's true. Man,
So,
I don't know. I don't know what to think.
That's a good question.
Now. Yeah, maybe this is just some. Maybe they're just leading us on. Maybe the 7 will be interchangeable. I don't know. Maybe one of the 7 will die, and they'll have to replace him with like Green Lantern.
Well, I think Green Lantern's more of an off-world kind of thing. And since this movie doesn't come out till 2020, who knows when he'll come up? And we're trying to get the bitter taste of that last movie they did out of our mouths still. Yeah. So I could definitely see it being Shazam first, and then later, expanding the Justice League to include a Martian Manhunter and a Green Lantern, more cosmic characters.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, but when you kind of think of it that way, it does kind of lean maybe towards the 7 Seas a little bit. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see.
In that case, I hope we get to see a lot of underwater people, because that means there'll probably be 7 different nations of sea dwellers.
Yeah, underwater action movie.
Yes.
Don't think I've seen that one.
And nor will we for a while. But all in all, I love Jason Momoa's Aquaman. This look has sold me that they can do Aquaman without making me feel like it's dumb as hell. So
yeah, I think he looks the part. So we're halfway there.
And I brought up a point. If DC can do this, why can't Marvel do Namor?
That's true. Well, I think Namor is really mixed up with who has the rights to him.
I think it would be very tricksy, but I think Kevin Feige said that Marvel has him. Because he wasn't a mutant first. Like now, like they're saying, like he's like a mutant. Some of the comics that he was a mutant, but he was like the very first comic book, almost for Marvel. So, who knows? I'm interested to see if they actually bring him up maybe Phase 4. So awesome, good job, Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Another movie. I feel bad bringing this up, but since it's not technically superheroes, but it's still under movies, and there's not been a Mission Impossible movie I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a modern, like a human superhero.
Yeah, so I'll let you tag it on in here. I mean, it's just a little bit of news. So, and I think the Mission Impossible movies can be fun.
That's right. Mission Impossible 5 production was just halted for like a minimum 2 weeks, because this is what we've been told is due to a lack of an ending to the script. Now, this has happened on one other movie that I know of, World War Z, where they had issues. They had to rewrite the ending for that. So this could very well be the same thing. They need to rewrite the ending. But this movie was supposed to come out Christmas this year. They just moved it up to July, and then they're like, we're going to put it on hold.
We don't have an ending. Well, I have to say that is a very, very good reason to stop production on a movie, is because we don't have any more movie to shoot because no one wrote it.
That's I think that's some of the problem is directors rewriting the movies as the movies are filming.
You know what? So we don't really know what's happening in this movie, but I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at what the ending should be. I'm going to say Ethan Hunt stops the bad guy, and he walks away victorious at the end. There you go. I just wrote the end of your movie.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You're welcome.
Mike gets writer's credit for that film now. Story by Mike Royer.
Yeah, I won't even charge you. Just put the Superhero Slate logo at the end of the credits.
Yeah. Please do. So that was really it. I like Mission Impossible movies. They're good, and so I just want to tag that on there.
All right.
Now we've got some more tragic news.
Oh. Yeah.
As most people, Mike let us know last week, this Saturday was San Diego Comic-Con open registration.
Yes, it was.
I want you to tell us about your experience, Mike. I followed the whole event on Twitter.
All right, so this is how it goes, everybody. So a couple of years ago, the first year I went to Comic-Con, they had a different registration system, and it was pretty crazy, and it was kind of all for one, every man for himself type of deal. They basically sent you a link in your email, and you click it exactly at 9 o'clock when the room opens, and then based on how quickly and what millisecond you click that link, you're basically placed in line, and it would tell you what place you are in line. I think at one point, I was like 20,000 in line, like 20,000 place in line or something like that. But I ended up getting tickets that first year, and ever since then, me and my wife has been able to go. But they have a new system that they've been doing, I think, for the last 2 years, where it's just totally random. They give you like a number, you go into the little lobby, you give them your registration number, and then they just randomly start bringing people into the ticket buying process. So if you want to go to Comic-Con, you basically have to cross your fingers. There's nothing that you can do to give yourself an edge. I thought maybe there's servers in like Southern California, and I'm a little closer to the server, so maybe I'll have a better chance. Everyone has equal opportunity to get a ticket now, and which means I did not get a ticket, and I am sad.
Now, my understanding was that you actually had several people working on this.
Yeah, so this is the thing. Each person has the ability to buy up to 3 badges, tickets. I'll call them badges from here on out, because that's what they call them. So every person has a chance to buy 3 badges. So you can buy basically badges for 2 other people once you get yours. So if you start to develop a little bit of network of people and you get them all on speakerphone on cell phones, you could purchase up to 15 if you all got in, but even if half of you got in, you should be able to get a chance to get everyone going. But like none of us, not a single one of us even got to the point where we could buy tickets, because through the process they update you like, Wednesday night is sold out, Saturday sold out, Friday sold out, and then obviously the last thing that's always left is Sunday. But yeah, this is going to be my first year not being able to go to Comic-Con. I mean, it hurts a little bit, but the emotions will start to well up once the weekend comes around, because I always get super excited when I start to see like, pictures being shown of like the convention center getting set up, or, the schedule starts getting released for who's going to talk or what panels are going to be there. And it's going to be sad.
Yeah. And I was really hoping that you would get to go to report some, but I think, you talked about, and I don't want to spoil too much here, but, having a special Comic-Con episode here. Yeah.
Well, I think, is
that still in effect?
Yeah, I think this is what it comes down to. San Diego Comic-Con, the mecca of all comic book Comic-Cons, is an event to go to. When you go there, you just totally drink in the vibe that's going on there. Everyone down there loves the same stuff you love. You don't have to worry about being the weird one there or sticking out, which brings me to this Comic-Con documentary that I believe they filmed it in 2010, and it came out in 2011. It's from Morgan Spurlock, the guy who did Super Size Me, and it's this great documentary about Comic-Con because he noticed that this convention was mega popular now, and it's more than just comic books. It's just this big media convention, and he interviews a lot of really well-known people in there. He interviews Joss Whedon, which is awesome to hear his thoughts about the convention. Seth Green and Kevin Smith he talks to in there, and it follows these 4 different types of people that visit Comic-Con. It follows these 2 artists who go to Comic-Con to get their portfolios reviewed by people in the industry. It follows a toy collector. It follows this couple who this guy wants to propose to his girlfriend in a panel. So it's just a really great documentary, and it just really gives you the vibe for what goes down there. But on the flip side, you never have to worry about missing the news. There's like so many thousands and thousands and thousands of people in San Diego that weekend. Like, once they know, the internet knows, so you don't have to worry about missing anything. So I don't think it's going to be hard to report any of this news from 2 hours away, or for you, 2,000 miles away.
That's true. 3 hours ahead of time.
Yeah.
But honestly, on Comic Go, we covered San Diego Comic-Con last year to the best of our ability without actually going. And we were able to get leaked footage of the Batman Superman trailer, audio from the Avengers Age of Ultron panel and the Ant-Man panel. So there's definitely people in there sharing stuff at all hours of the day, and you can count on us to report on it.
Yeah, but for me, Comic-Con's always about the little panels, because if you want to go to those mega big panels to see, like, the first glimpse of, like, Batman and Superman, you got to wait, like, all day outside in these lines that, sometimes you have to get in overnight. Maybe some year I'll dedicate myself to those lines, but there's always these little panels that are really fun to go to. I tried to make it into a panel for the comic saga. I just missed that one by a couple minutes, but that one probably would have been really cool. My favorite one is called Quick Draw, where they bring in 3 different classic comic strip artists, and they give them things to draw, like what is your evil twin doing right now, and they'll just draw it really quick over these overhead projectors. I'm sad I'm gonna miss that one, but check out the Comic-Con episode for A Fan's Hope documentary. We'll put a link to, like, the IMDb or something in the show notes so you guys can check it out. We'll link to the trailer. You guys can watch the trailer. Yeah,
and on that note as well, I have confirmed Comic-Cons for the next 3 months running. So next month I'm going to Lexington Comic-Con. April is C2E2, probably my favorite Comic-Con of the year. I met Chris Hemsworth there before Thor came out one year. It's probably my favorite thing to go to. I got press passes for that, and then also in May is it's a Michigan Comic-Con. I think it's Motor City Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
And I am really excited to get to all those this year and talk about them here, because as like you said, it's the small panels that are fun, meeting the little people.
Yeah.
I got to interview Christopher Yost, the guy who wrote Thor: The Dark World, at one a couple years ago, and he spouted off some infinite wisdom about comics and movies and stuff, because he also writes comic books. So Comic-Cons are great, and I'm sorry you don't get to go to San Diego, but that shouldn't stop you or other people from going to smaller ones too.
Oh yeah, there's a smaller one in Anaheim, WonderCon. I'll probably go to that one. But go visit your Comic-Cons that are closest to you. They're fun. I mean, you'll have a great time. There's tons of comics there, lots of independent artists trying to put their work out there, and more than likely you're going to see people dress up, and that's always fun too.
Yeah. So that's about all the news we got for you today, this week. So we're going to jump to one of our favorite segments. What are we reading this week?
Chris, what are you reading?
This week I am rereading Jonathan Hickman's run on the Avengers and New Avengers, starting in 2012, that is leading up to Secret Wars this summer. I'm really excited for Secret Wars. I made my pull list for May. Probably 22 comics. Most of those are new series, like not recurring ones. And honestly, he's spread so much information, and starting with issue 1 of New Avengers, that and beyond. Like he wrote. There's stuff in Fantastic Four beforehand that he wrote leading up to this. It's just fun to reread it all at once rather than waiting a month at a time in between stuff. Because I think you get it how it was kind of written all at once. Probably didn't write one issue and then wait another month to write another one, and read them all at once. It's like having a trade. You get all your story that you want there, and it's fresh in your mind, and you can draw the lines and connect the dots. And I really, really enjoy it. and that is a big issue of New Avengers coming out this week that reveals who the main villain is that we've been waiting for since essentially issue 1. And I'm ready to read up on that. What are you reading, Mike? You were giving me a big list before we started here. I can't even keep track of it.
Oh yeah, so right now I'm trying to catch up on my my Daredevil. With the series coming out, I want to make sure that I know everything about Daredevil that I possibly need to know. I've already read, I don't remember the title of it, but the book that Kevin Smith wrote was pretty good, where the main villain was, I believe it was Mysterio. That one's really good, but I decided to read the ones that people, just recommend every single time you ask what to read. So I just finished Born Again, which is Frank Miller's run back in the 80s, basically the Kingpin tackling Daredevil and his secret identity. That one was really good. Sometimes it's a slog for me to get through 80s comics, but this one was pretty easy to get through. The story was really, really solid. So I just finished that one. So now I'm moving on to Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, also Miller. I'm one chapter, volume, issue, whatever you want to call it, into this one. And it's really good. This one is mid-90s, so the art's a little bit more updated, but the writing's just as good. It's dealing with, looks like Daredevil's past a little bit more. But man, Daredevil is such a good character. He's probably one of the darkest characters in the Marvel Universe, and people never really realize it.
I tell you what, one of the biggest things is, I always remember Daredevil was running late. One of the issues was. So to make up for the spot where Daredevil was supposed to print and release, that's when they created the Avengers. And I will always remember that Daredevil helped create the Avengers indirectly. But at the same time, my friend Brian got me to read Mark Waid's Daredevil run, which is one of the more recent ones. Fantastic. Fantastic. I didn't think I'd ever like Daredevil until Mark Waid's run. But I feel you. I think he's an underrated character. Just because he's not in the big teams and doing the big events doesn't mean you shouldn't read him.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's what I'm reading, and I'm gonna reread a little book out there that everyone should be reading called Sex Criminals from Matt Fraction, who's been doing the new run of Hawkeye. It's just really, really funny. I was telling you earlier that sometimes it's nice to get outside of the DC Marvel universe and just read a comic that you don't have to worry too much about what's happened in the past or how it's connected. So it's really fun. It's about these. It's about this couple that find out when they climax, they can stop time, which is just bizarre. But if you've read anything by Matt Fraction, you could see how he could make that work, and it's just hilarious. And there's no reason not to read it. Anytime I ever have to buy a gift for somebody or I need to recommend a comic, it's always that one. It's just too good. It's too hilarious.
Oh yeah, Matt Fraction's fantastic. He was actually at my first C2E2 and I met him, and I like to say that because ever since then, anything Matt Fraction's written, I've usually followed. Yeah,
well, I think we're noticing a trend here. When you meet someone, they start to get a little bit more successful. When we talk about someone on the show, we have this voodoo power that just no one has quite recognized yet.
They should recognize and respect the Slate's ability to make things happen.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's really all we got this week. I hope it was kind of a slow week, but not that slow, apparently.
Yeah, well, it wasn't slow for me.
Yes. Oh, tell us about that. But this is part of your plug.
Yeah,
Mike, give us your plug.
Yeah, so, if you guys want to follow me, you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter or Instagram, or I highly recommend that you go over to pickledcomics.com. I finally put a new comic out this week, and it was the most successful one I've ever been able to make. I put it up on Reddit. It made it to the front page. It was all about how Pokemon get their names, and I came up with the idea because just the week before, we all went to dinner, and there was this... one of my friends brought this guy who was from Sweden, and he the way he was pronouncing some of the food on this Mexican menu was hilarious. So just go read the comic. But yeah, it did really well. Made it to the front page. I got a bunch of new Facebook likes and stuff, and yeah, it was awesome. So now I'm like really excited. I'm like spurred and I'm motivated. So I'm gonna try to put out a new comic here every week. So yeah.
I mean, I tell you, one of your comics was shared by Will Wheaton years ago. Like one of your first ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he found it and shared it on Tumblr. I got some good traffic from that, but this.
But I mean, this was of your own accord, and that's what I wanted to commend you on.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, this exposure on the front page of Reddit is insane. I understand why so many people try to make it there. You know, usually they're just trying to push. They're just trying to push stuff, like maybe some sort of like shady marketing company trying to get some sort of like product on the front page. But yeah, I love drawing these little things, and I love sharing them with people, and I get super excited when people really like them. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're a fan, thank you very much.
Yes, I'm not quite as popular as Mike, sadly.
No, I think popular is going a little bit too far.
But you can follow me at Valdan on Twitter, VALDAN. You can go get all this news and more on comicui.com. And some stuff on Nerd Traffic I write as well. It's more of a tech-based stuff, but whatever. I definitely don't have as much going on as you, but I'm making my own risk board that Mike has seen.
Oh, yeah. What's the theme for that risk board?
It actually ties into Marvel's Secret Wars coming out this summer.
You're such a nerd.
I am totally a nerd, but I tell you what, I'm going to meet Jonathan Hickman at C2E2, the writer, and have him sign it, and I think it'll be one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, that'll be cool. You should get a picture with him and the board.
Oh my gosh. I think having the only board like it in the world will make it that much better.
Yeah. But of course, guys, go to superheroslate.com. Check out the show notes. We'll have links to anything and everything that we talked about in this show. You can find all the links to subscribe to YouTube, iTunes, our RSS feed, anything that you need to connect to us, we got up there. So yeah, just hit up superheroslate.com for all of your superhero needs.
Yes, and don't be afraid to write us on the Contact Us page with any questions, comments, or just whatever you want to say.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for the show today, Mike.
All right. I will see you next week.
Later.
Bamf.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.